Hi parents, Victoria here. We're going to do our next guided reading book, and this book is called The Baby Animals. And we're going to read it following the same structure that we did the last guided reading book. So let's begin by taking a look at our blends. Now before I do guided reading with my students, I always review the blends or the sight words that we're going to be talking about. So let's take a look at that now, okay? So we have our blend board. It's a little tatter. This is what I use in class every day. So we have the Quiet Sisters. They say shh. The Rude Brothers says th because the tongue sticks out. The C and H say cha. The double O says ooh. Screaming E's, so E. The tiger says Now we haven't focused so much on the ER ending because I usually introduce it later on in the year when the kids are sounding out more, and that's one of the ones that you have to ask me, is it an ER or is it just an R ending? So I usually hold off on this one. So they're not as familiar with this one. And then we have ing, so I-N-G, ing, which is shown by the king visual. So in our sight book, in our guided reading book today, the sight words we're gonna look at, and we'll put them up here first. We are going to do three, well I guess, yeah, we're gonna look at three sight words, okay? So number one is and. Now we've done this a lot in morning message, and you guys know you'll be circling that a lot in the previous activities. So and, so d. So it's three words and you say each sound, or three letters, sorry, and you say each sound. Then we have C. So C, S, E, so that's those screaming E's. And then if we have throughout, it changes a little bit in the book, but you have the sight word the, so T-H-E, the, and we know how important this is. And then it also refers to which I guess isn't, well, it is kind of a sight word. So, well, those are the ones that we're going to be focusing in on. So if the students are listening right now, that's what we're going to look at in this book, okay? So come on over with Miss S, and we will take a look at this book. So here we go. And I'll go slower because, sorry, last time I went a little bit too fast. We have The Baby Animals. Okay, that's the title of our book. Okay, again, The Baby Animals. Okay, here we go. And we always start on the first page and we always read left to right. So come and see the baby birds. Oops, bird. Sorry, there's no S there. Come and see a baby chick. And here, C and H makes the ch sound. Come and see the baby duckling. And here's the ing. Come and see a baby puppy. And you can talk about parents that sometimes the Y makes the E sound when it's at the end of a word, but again, that's more of a grade 1 concept, and it's, if you say it, repeat it over and over every time you see it, eventually the children will understand it, or the students will understand it, so you can bring attention to the Y there. Y sometimes makes the E sound when it's at the end of a word. Come and see the baby kitten. And we know that when we see a double letter like 2 T's or 2 L's or 2 S's, we just say the T once. Come and see a baby lamb. And here we have a quiet letter, right? We don't say it. We don't say lamba, we say lamb. So that's one of those tricky words in English. Come and see the baby piglet. And we always end our sentences with a punctuation mark, so there's a period that's telling us to stop. Come and see the baby animals. And there you see the same 3 letters that we saw in the title, the baby animals. Okay, so now we're gonna go through the book again, but this time I'm gonna stay quiet. We're gonna focus in on the book and have your child read as I point to each word, okay? And I'm sorry, parents, if it's too fast or too slow. I'm gonna do my best here. I guess we could start with the title. Okay, good for you, kindergartens, if you were able to read that book. Now let's take a look at the writing activity. So, as always, we're gonna write the title of the book, The Baby Animals, at the top of our page, and this can be done on a blank piece of paper. The Baby Animals. And in our guided writing activity, again, we are focusing on writing a complete sentence. That means we begin with an uppercase and we end with a punctuation mark. So for our activity in the baby animals, we're just going to keep it to one sentence today, parents. We'll give the students a little bit of a break. And if they want to do two, they can do two. I'll leave it up to you because you know you can read how they're feeling in the moment like I do in class, but I obviously can't. So we're going to use the same format of the book. So come and see. So those would be the first three words. And then they can choose a baby animal. And let's say they chose a specific baby animal, like I think a deer, a baby deer is called a fawn, for example. I could totally be wrong there. Oh my gosh, don't quote me. But look up the correct terminology if they pick an animal that you don't know what the baby name would be called. That's a great time to research, pull up a computer, look at what the baby animal, the correct term for that baby animal's name is. But for the sake of this, I'm just going to give you an example, okay? And I'm going to start by writing come. So that means the uppercase letter would have to be, or the C, sorry, would have to be uppercase. So come, and parents, I would encourage the students to find the book, find the word themselves. So if you say to them, okay, the next word is come and see, and if they say, well, I don't know how to spell see, first get them to sound it out. Second, have them go look in the book. Find that word in the book and see for yourself how it sounded, how it's spelt. So come and see. And I'm trying to think of a baby animal. Come and see the baby, I'll put duckling. Duckling. Duck-o-ing. Period. And then that would be a full sentence, right? Come and see the baby duckling. And you'd leave a finger space between each word. The students will probably need reminding of that as they're going through this and writing the sentence. And like I said, I wasn't very creative there. I used a word from the book, but generally I ask my students to come up with other examples. In this case, it's a little bit hard because like I said, those are specific terms, but do your best. So that would be an example, and then they could draw a picture of the animal that they chose. If that meant going to the back of the book, if they did choose one from the book, can they recreate the baby duckling here? And if you want to take this one step further, maybe you find out 3 facts about that baby animal you chose. What do they eat? Maybe where do they live? So on and so forth. If you wanted to extend this activity and make it a little bit longer, which I'm sure you will. Just kidding. Okay, thank you, parents.